Good evening. In the diagnostic of the results, we will go through each of the indicators. Our group is formed by Juan Cano, Andres Piragauta, and who speak to them, Natalie Munoz. We choose the company of Zapatoca, a medium-sized supermarket with several branches in the south of the capital.
Good evening, my name is Juan Esteban Guerrero. Now you are seeing the general balance of the company Zapatoca. You can see here the values of each year and for the each item. You have here the assets, the current and not current assets and the total. Also with the passive and patrimony. Take your time to see the different values. If you want to pause the video to see good the values, it's okay. Now we are seeing the vertical balance of the company, the vertical analysis of the general balance of the company. This analysis is done exclusively based on the percentage or vertical balance that arrive from diving each of the active or passive accounts by their corresponding total. Uh, as you remember, the values of the general balance, we can see the percentage that are done by dividing each item to the total of the respective asset. In this case, for example, this percentage is done by divided the available money of 2015 divided by the total of current assets, and this process is done with all of the items. We can see here that the not current assets have in 2015 correspond of 63.1% of the total of assets, and the current assets are 36.9% of the total of the assets. The same with the passive, the current and the long-term passive, and also the patrimony. The vertical analysis, as you know, is a financial analysis has to choose to interpret, analyze the financial statements called a vertical analysis, which consists of determining the proportional weight in percentage that each account has within the financial statement. Here we can see the different percentage of the available money on this based of the investment, deudors, inventory, and differs of the general balance. Here in 2016 we have a growth in the current assets, and in 2017 we have a decrease in the current assets. The same with the same analysis is done with the not current assets and with all the the items here. Now we are going to proceed with the horizontal analysis. The horizontal analysis, as you know, determine what was the growth or decrease of an account in a given period. It is the analysis that allows to determine if the behavior of the company in a period was good, regular, or bad. Here we have the percentage of growth or not growth of the company and the total of assets. As you can see, the process is subtract the values of each year. In this case, for example, in investments, to determine the absolute variation, we subtract the 2015 value between the 2016 value, and for this we make this formula that is done by the relationship with the available money that we have in 2015. The same of to make the absolute, the same with the different values to make the absolute. And for the relative, we have here for the relative the different values, and as you know, the relative variation is the change expressed in percentage that an amount present in two periods, in which the first serves as the base and the second as the period of study. Now here we have a resume of the exercise that we done previously. As you can see more clearly with the respective percentage and also with graphics. Now we have the state of results. We determined that the cost of the sales was 79.7%, so the utility was 20.3%. And the same process we did with the different years. Making the conclusion of the utility decrease. We have in 2015 a negative utility, and but in 2016 and 2017 we have positive utilities. The better utility was in 2017. This because, as you can see, the uh, as you can see the analysis, the incomes of 2017 was more than the incomes of the previous years. And this is the resume of the result of the exercise. Uh, as you can see, the same that the analysis of the state of results showing previously of the balance, sorry, showing previously. And now we can proceed with the liquidity. So my partner Natalie is gonna explain this point.
Liquidity. The shoe company has increased in the last 3 years. Its current liquidity ratio reaching 1.08 in 2017, which means that short-term borrowing capacity can be covered by assessed elements. Since according to the interpretation of the indicator in the company, it has a radio grade that one can respond for short-term debts with your current resources. Indebtedness to debt of third parties in the total liability of the last 3 years represent 56.74 to 53.79, which establish that the total indebtedness of the company have been kept in equilibrium, mean that the company can contract more obligation and access of more financing. Profitability indicator. We can use in general terms to profitability has increased in last 3 years, which is evidential in the profit potential which has increased by approximately 17, showing that the profitability ratio has increased where sales have grown and administrative, financial, raw material or labor expense have been reduced. We can estimate that if we continue with these actions, the utility will be able to continue growing. Equity potential has also been reflected in an increase since in the first year to the capital generated by the company was not reflected, while in the last year a 38.85% growing was seen, which shows a profit in probability of hearing. Activity. In the activity indicator, we can deduce that the company covered its investors into cash 56 times each day that the company covers inventory into cash. This has been increased in the last 3 years. In the company has inverters to sell. The number of the days that the company delays in the canceling the suppliers is 72. This number has been increased and this has generated that is not favorable for both the suppliers and the company because the company incurs more financial obligator or fails to comply with credit policies.